All right, we'll get started. I will offer Sufi grind as opening meditation. If you prefer to come into a still place, sitting, lying down, child's pose, at any point during these first 5 minutes of meditation, you can follow that intuition. If you are starting in the Sufi grind, sit comfortably so your spine is tall, and then take a big breath in, get even taller. Exhale, lean forward a touch, and then start to draw small circles with your straight-ish spine. And we start straight-ish so you can feel the bottom point of the spine, the tip of the sacrum, the coccyx. Drawing circles on the ground between your sitting bones. Invite your breath down into this area. Like starting to stir up your oatmeal, adding your breath as you would add liquid. And the circles gradually become a little smoother, more circular. Feeling into the areas where your body moves with ease, kind of falls into rhythm. And tracking the areas that are a little more bound up. The body may not be ready to go. Or it might stir up some tender sensations. Rather than push into those areas, trying to make the circles big and smooth, I recommend using the inhale breath in those easy open areas. Drink it in. And then sending your exhale towards the tighter, darker places. With that focus on breath, your circles may have automatically gotten smoother, more voluptuous. The spine not so straight, starting to press out into more snake-like movements. Or independent movements of the upper spine, neck, and head. Continue your breath meditation in that freer, organic movement. Or with that focus on breath, you may want less movement. Really coming to feeling, mixing mind and body together through the breath with minimal distraction. Well, then honor that today. And if you've been doing circles in one direction for this full meditation, Take the time to pause now. Either wind your way back to center, or I like to lean forward. Breathe length into the spine. Exhale, reverse your circles. I'll stay quiet for these last dozen breaths as you explore and feel breath and sensation. Find your way back to a still place, whether you're sitting upright or lying down. And once you're still, if you're in a position where you can rub hands together, go ahead, rub them briskly, get some heat, sensation tingling into these thousands and thousands of nerve endings through the palms, fingers, and fingertips. And if during your opening meditation you noticed one area of the body that was especially sensitive or maybe especially pleasurable, and you want to send your vibration there, you can let your warm, tingly hands rest there. Otherwise, you can let them float into prayer or onto your heart, onto your belly, anywhere where you can feel the vibration of your voice as we move into 3 rounds of Brahmari, the bee buzz breath. If you prefer to sing out in Om, you are welcome to do that. Together we breathe in. Two more buzzes. We'll release the hands. We'll move into a seated forward fold. If you're on the back, you're welcome to stay on your back for figure 4 back release. Those of you sitting, cross-legged seat right in front of left, and then bring the feet forward. Move them towards the knees a little bit so your knees aren't quite as wide. Square pose. Just get into the outer hip as you bow forward. And to begin, bowing may be releasing head and neck and noticing the echo of that release down in the hips and low back. If it feels right to you to keep coming forward, you can. Or you can find an interesting place to pause, maybe lock your arms out, or use props. Put your head on something so you can relax and breathe. Those of you in your back, figure 4 is this one. Any expression that gets your breath into low back and hips. And just like you're mixing breath into the sensation of your movement, mix your breath into whatever you're noticing here. And simply watch. Notice if it changes its texture, its temperature. So sensations have a lot of layers, and when we first show up in yoga and drop into the feeling practice, we start with it hurts or it doesn't hurt. And then we start to discern, is this a beneficial kind of sensation? Or even in the pleasurable sensation, sometimes we push into what feels really good. We start to realize later it doesn't feel so good. So with the breath, we get a little space from what we like and dislike and start to discern exactly what is healing, what is nutritive sensation. What is arising that we don't normally get to notice in our busyness or when our attention is elsewhere in the outside world. And yes, that means thoughts will accompany the sensations, emotions. Use your breath to make space for all of those layers. All right, keep your neck relaxed. Those of you sitting, reach back through your tail, pull your belly in, using those low spinal muscles to pull the rest of your spine up. Hands, of course, can help, but neck follows. Lift just enough to change cross of legs and then return into the fold. If you're on your back, figure 4 on the other side. If you're being still, you might want to put your right foot, your bottom foot against a wall or couch so you can just relax too. You don't have to hold it in. I always say relatively still because even if you're choosing to be still, you'll notice with the breath that there's always internal movement, pulsing and vibration. Sometimes things suddenly let go and there are big shifts. And I would say, especially with hip musculature, gentle external movement can also be beneficial. So if it feels right to gently rock or sway. Hips like to dance. Reach back through your tail. Hug your low abdominals in and ease your spine back to upright. Head will be the last piece to come up. Straighten your legs out. Let's keep the left leg straight. Draw the right knee open. We'll start with just an arm movement. Turn to face your left leg. And open the right arm. Inhale, open. Exhale, back to the left. Inhale, open. And exhale, turn. Do it like that 2 more times. If you feel like you need to adjust your seat to get more freedom movement in the spine and arm, then sit up on something. Put a blanket or something under your knee if your hamstrings are the limiting factor. All right. And maybe you continue just like this. And as you reach towards the leg, maybe bowing towards a little bit. If you'd like a bigger arm movement, maybe the inhale, the arm comes up and out. And exhale over. Take 6 breaths to play with this. And if you find yourself drawn into forward folds and wanting to stay in a still place, do that. This is the time. And let's use 3 more breaths to be still. So any variation of forward fold, literally sitting up straight, turning towards the left leg is a forward fold because you're bent at the hips. And always starting to soften the neck will shift everything you feel down the spine, down the back of the leg. Inhale, glance just the eyes towards your toes without moving head. Pull your belly in and come up to sitting. Straighten your right leg out. Draw left knee open or modify the seat so it works for you. Start by spinning navel towards right knee. And then inhale, left arm open. Exhale, close. Back and forth 3 more times. Getting breath into the bones of low spine where they rise from the pelvis. And if it feels right to continue like that, you do. If it feels right to inhale the left arm up and over. And exhale back towards the leg. If you come up with your own variation of this movement by listening and feeling, follow it. One thing I miss about practicing with you guys live is sometimes I would learn from watching you. All right, last several breaths. Maybe you stay in your forward fold. Inhale, glance eyes towards toes. Pull your low belly in. Come up to your seat. Sitting any comfortable position, we'll just do a few shoulder rolls. Inhale your shoulders to your ears. Exhale, draw them back and down. 3 rolls in that direction. And take 2 rolls in the other direction. And then we'll meet, hiking shoulders up to try to touch the ears, lifting up through the shoulders to lift the ribs, to lengthen the whole spine up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Take a huge breath in. If you have healthy shoulders, neck, on the exhale, you might simply let the shoulders fall with gravity. Most of us will pull them down with more control. Neck release. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, drop your chin to your chest. Take a breath here. Lengthen up through the back of the spine, up through base of neck. Exhale, release your jaw. Roll your head over to right shoulder. Line your head up directly over shoulder. Maybe it's ear over shoulder. For some necks, that creates a lot of tension, so you can angle the chin down or up. But just be aware that it'll want to start falling forward. So keep the heart lifted, the collarbones wide. Optional, right arm comes up and overhead to cradle head. Some of you, your fingers might reach the jawline, and you can gently traction the skin off the jaw. And just please don't pull on your head, whatever shape you're in. Optional, left fingertips on the left shoulder, gliding the left shoulder blade down the back. And then you breathe into the space in between your fingers, the lengthening left side neck. Release your hands if you're using them. Take a breath. Exhale, roll chin down to chest. And inhale, ease your head over to left shoulder. You feel for the appropriate angle on this side. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, ease the shoulder blades back and down. Option to add the arms, either cradling left arm overhead and or right fingers to the right shoulder. You can gently traction the skin of your jaw wherever you're feeling on the side of your face, or massage there. Release your hands, roll head back to chest. Take a few breaths in freeform movement, either little half circles, easing head from shoulder to shoulder. For some of your necks, full circles feel like a great relief, letting the head finally go into the back space. But for a lot of us, because our heads are so forward oriented, back spaces creates more tension. So if you feel your jaw start to tighten up, don't go back there. Of course, you don't have to do continuous movement. You might find, let the head hang to one side, turn your chin down to your collar, and then take a few breaths on the other side. All right, finish up the round you're on. We'll meet with chin to chest. Eyes softly gazing down your nose at your chest. Inhale, lift your heart up towards your chin. Easy movement as you glide the shoulder blades back and down. Exhale. If you're okay with touching your face, bring a palm to your forehead. Little pressure of head into hand so back of neck stays released as you put your head back on your spine. And we'll come down to our backs. We'll do some work on our ramp if you have it. If you have a bolster, 2 yoga blocks, a couple blankets or towels. So a ramp, I mean one of those like flat rectangular bolsters. Hips might be 7 inches off the floor, like a yoga block's height. Not higher than that. If you don't have those things, you can do this without a ramp. You can be on your back. Couch cushion works great, just a little more cumbersome. If you are using something big like a couch cushion, put it on the bottom half of your mat. So when we come down, and I recommend easing onto your hip on the bolster, lying down on your side, and then rolling onto your back, upper back bodies all on the floor. If you're using yoga blocks, it might be easier to come into a bridge and put the blocks together, link them underneath you. All right, once your hips are on your bolster, draw one knee at a time up. Then take a moment to settle in. Breathe the back bottom ribs towards the yoga mat. Exhale, hug the lowest part of your belly off your pubic bone, but press your tailbone back into the bolster. Take another breath like that. Breathe back bottom ribs towards mat. Exhale, hug low belly in and untuck the tail. If those aren't areas of the body you can quite feel into yet, that's all right. Just breathe. Let your body listen. Dipping frog. Open your knees to a 90-degree angle, like you're in a chair, feet flexed, toes pulled back. Knees, probably if you're on a ramp, they won't be pointing straight up to the sky. You're in a chair shape, so thighs coming slightly towards you. Let's put hands on the body. Hands on your waist. So maybe you feel that connection between the lowest rib and the hip bone. Stay steady. The bottom ribs will occasionally try to pop out. Your back will try to help this movement. I don't want your back involved. Keep breathing the back bottom ribs onto the mat. Exhale, hug the low abdominals in to wake them up, not to tighten them. In fact, more effort usually needs to be in relaxing them. Inhale, back bottom ribs towards mat. Dip your right heel towards the earth. It may or may not touch. That's not important. Relax your low belly. Exhale, pull low belly in. Come back to center. Inhale, back bottom ribs towards earth. Left heel dips. Relax low belly. Exhale, pull low belly in. Do each side one more time. See if you can do it without changing the bend in your right knee. Keep it a 90-degree angle, which will make the ground harder to reach, and that's intentional. So you're using your low abdominals instead of your hips. Next time you come back to center, take a breath, back bottom ribs to mat. Exhale, open your legs into frog. Straddle thighs, open feet. Breathe back bottom ribs down here. Exhale, hug low belly in. Breathe into back body, straddle thighs. Exhale, bring your knees back into your chair. Another round. Inhale, back bottom ribs. Dip your left heel towards earth. Relax low belly, and then exhale, engage low belly. Come back to center. Inhale, back bottom ribs, right heel down. Exhale, low belly in, center. Do each side one more time. And inhale, center. Exhale, open legs, frog. Breathe back, bottom ribs towards earth. Notice if your chin is rising, drop it back in. Exhale, pull low belly in. Flex your feet. Breathe the back of the rib cage broad. Exhale, legs back together. One more round. Optional, straightening your legs for this round. Feet tippy toe to the sky. Inhale, right heel towards earth, dipping frog, or lower the right leg towards earth. Probably won't make it, just go as low as feels safe with low back not arching. Exhale, pull low belly in center. Again, breathe back bottom ribs towards the mat, left leg down. Exhale, pull low belly in center. Relax your jaw. Do each side one more time. In center, breathe back bottom ribs towards earth. Exhale, open your legs, frog or straddle. Breathe into your low back. Exhale, hug low abdominals in. Take a breath. Exhale, legs together. Fold your knees in towards your chest. If you can catch your right leg with your hands, use it. Use them. Either hold the right thigh or the right shin. You can, of course, bind a towel or something around your leg so your arms don't have to strain to reach. Or just hold the right knee in if you can't use your hands. Breathe into the right hip. Exhale, soften right hip, right knee towards right collarbone, not quite out to the shoulder. Inhale, left leg up to the ceiling. Activate the foot, whether you flex it, point it, or spread the toes back. Exhale, lower your left leg straight down towards earth. Keep the back ribs heading towards mat, the low ribs in your belly. So heel probably won't touch earth. I want you to find the area of resistance where it floats. Knee straight, foot active. Relax the front of the hips, your heavy leg stretches your hip flexors. Now, to release the hip flexors, some of us aren't going to hang at our maximum down below. You'll come to a point where you feel resistance and just breathe softness into your left hip. If you're not on a ramp, you're extending your left leg out in Apanasana, working your hamstrings down to the mat. We'll start to open the front of the hip. Keep breathing softness into the right hip because that will pull the right thigh away from you. Inner thigh scissoring in two directions. All right, fold left knee back in. Nice and easy. Exhale, breathe softness into your left hip flexors as you draw that knee in towards collarbone. Right leg to the sky, active foot, inhale. Exhale, spiral right thigh in towards center a little bit as you lower down to your floating place. And again, you might not go as low as you can go. You'll just feel for the stretch in the front of the hip, thigh, and low belly. And use these next few breaths to feel for an untangling, a softening. Keep breathing back, bottom ribs towards mat. And fold the right knee in. Transitioning into a half happy baby variation. Put your left foot on the ground. I recommend left hand on thigh to keep it grounded. But for some of you, letting the left knee open or leg straighten will feel more grounded. Open your right knee towards your right shoulder. Breathe into pelvis. Exhale, soften hip. Option to turn your right foot up to the ceiling like half happy baby. If you're on a ramp, your foot will be further away, hard to catch, so don't strain. Of course, you can put a strap around it if that's handy. Even if you're on the floor, half happy baby, feet are further away than full happy baby. Untuck the tailbone towards the earth. All right, bring right knee back to center, foot down, and then set your foot on the floor, left knee to chest. Open left knee towards shoulder, breathe into pelvis. Exhale, flatten your sacrum on bolster or earth. And then option to start to turn left foot up to sky. The foot can stay low if that makes more sense to your body today. All right, set your left foot down all the way to the ground. We're going to move the bolster down from out under our hips so we can put our feet under it. So if it makes sense to you to press your hips towards the ceiling, tuck your tail, slide the bolster down, put your hips on the ground. Some of you will need to roll off whatever you're using and come into a full happy baby. Or if it feels more right to you to do windshield wipes with your feet on the bolster or the floor, you can swish the knees out instead. Let's hug knees to chest. We'll slowly find our way to all fours. We're coming to all fours for arm glides, leg slides. So some of you don't want to do tabletop. You can move the bolster out of the way. We're done with it for now. You can do this on your back. The leg slides will be feet on the floor, knees bent, sliding one heel out at a time. Same breath as our dipping frog. Inhale into low back. Exhale, pull low belly in to draw the knee back to center. So you'll be doing that. Then we'll add the arms. Arms can move any direction. You can swim them. And then maybe add arms and legs. So just follow along on your back. If you're tired of being on your back, you're getting a little lightheaded, but you don't want to be in a tabletop, yes, you can do this from a sitting position, gliding your legs out. All right, those of you in tabletop, hopefully have gotten comfortable on your hands and knees. Neutralize your spine. Inhale to lift the upper back out of the shoulders, but keep the neck relaxed. Tailbone, pubic bone pointing straight back. There's a natural curve to your lumbar spine, but that hip rib, low rib connection is still there and will stay exactly like that. Inhale the back bottom ribs off your low back. Slide the right foot back. Trying not to change the torso. If you're on a slippery floor, this is much easier. Exhale, hug low belly in to reset right knee down. Inhale, back bottom ribs, left leg slides back. Exhale, hug the low abdominals in, come back to center. Do each leg one more side. Feeling your breath in low abdominals, creating the movement. Now, I recommended neutral spine, but some of you will actually need to actively tuck the tail to connect to your core, your abdominals. And that's fine. All right, now we're just moving the arms from your tabletop. Inhale, back bottom ribs out. Reach the right arm forward, thumb pointing up to sky. Without popping the low ribs out. Exhale, back down. Inhale, back ribs out, left arm forward, relax low belly. Exhale, hug low belly in, hand down. Do each arm one more time. Now, last 4 rounds, maybe you choose to do arms, legs simultaneously. If not, you can choose to mix up arms, legs how you want. Inhale, slide the left leg back, reach the right arm forward. Maybe left leg rises. That's fine if you can keep your torso flush to earth. Exhale back to center. Inhale, back ribs out. Right leg back, left arm forward. Exhale, center. Take 2 more breaths, playing however you want. This movement of limbs can put pressure in the low back. That's why I want you to breathe the back ribs off the low back. Ventilate that area. All right, when your rounds are complete, take any resting pose where you can stay with the breath. Maybe it's child's pose. Maybe you want a more active rest like a down dog or a cat cow. Or if you want to get off your hands, do a standing forward fold. And then run your breath into whatever part of your body feels really good in your resting shape. Use that as a touchstone to grow the breath. And then if there's an achier or tighter area, send your exhale there. All right. Keep the voluptuous breath going as you find your way up to standing. Take a few breaths to do that. Some of you maybe now want to do your cat's cows, down dogs on your way up to your feet. Sun breath, standing in Tadasana, feet parallel to each other, whether they're right under your hips or the big toes touch. I'll leave that up to you. Just moving the arms any direction you like. Inhale the arms up. Exhale back to your heart. Or maybe you just move the arms out. Inhale, breath in. Exhale back to center. Close your eyes. Take 2 more breaths like that. Three half sun salutes. If you prefer to stay with just the arm movement, go ahead, do that. Inhale, arms. Forward fold. Exhale, either swan dive, keep your back straight, or tuck your chin, roll down. Either way, your knees might bend a lot on your way down and on your way up. Inhale, half lift. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale to your heart. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Fan out those back bottom ribs. Exhale, fold. Hug your low abdominals in. Inhale, back bottom ribs as you rise. Exhale, center. Take 1 more on your own. This also is a vehicle for breath. Enjoy the sensation of breath. And when you come back to center, take a moment with your thumbs against your heart, feeling it beat. Your eyes are closed or gaze at the floor and feel your feet on the floor. Feel for ease of breath. Windmilling triangle. Separate your feet to 3 feet. You may want a block or blocks for under your hands. We'll be doing this with a lengthening spine. If you don't have any props, that's okay. You can just bring hands to the earth. Inhale, shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. Actually, let's take a moment in our forward fold. Though if you're not comfortable letting head fall below heart, that gets you too dizzy, then put your hands on your blocks. Keep your spine straight. Now be mindful with this movement because our shoulders are connected to our necks, to our spines all the way. As you breathe in, let the shoulders rise into your ears. And as you breathe out, glide the shoulder blades away from your head and neck, down towards your tail. Take 2 more shoulder shrugs upside down like that. Nice, easy movements. Working against gravity. And keep the shoulders back as you inhale to a flat back, everybody. Come onto fingertips or onto your blocks. Breathe the back bottom ribs out. Rock your weight towards your toes if your hamstrings are okay with that. Exhale, hug the low abdominals in, soft neck. Inhale, back bottom ribs out. Turn to the right, right hand rises. Exhale, hug low belly in, come back to center. Inhale, fan out back bottom ribs, turn left. Release low belly and then exhale, massage low belly in center. Do each side 1 or 2 more times. And when you are complete, either come back into forward fold or return to standing. If you chose forward fold, you can inhale, half lift like a cat and a cow. Exhale, soften in. And inhale to a flat back. Bring your hands to your waist, point your elbows to the sky. Maybe you bend your knees and tuck your tail to help you stand up. And step your feet back together. Let's come into a warrior 3 type flow. If you have 2 blocks, you can use those. I recommend putting your hands on something. Of course, you can work with hands on the floor, but I really want you to connect to the core. And by core, I do mean low abdominals in this case. So if you have a chair or couch, or if you're walking your hands down a wall, just walk back. So you end up with a straight spine and your hips right over your heels with your knees soft. So come put your hands on something, lengthen your spine back, bend your knees, reach your tail back, scoop your low belly in. Now, you may need to watch this first. As you inhale, bring your knees together, pick your left foot up, and then reach the left leg back, warrior 3. As you exhale, draw the left knee back into the right, pull your belly in, and set it down. Inhale, back bottom ribs, knees together, right leg back. Exhale, pull low belly in, come back to center. You don't actually have to get the knees to touch, but that action of drawing in will connect you to center. Stay connected as you extend. Connect to that to pull you back in. So go to each side, up to 4 times on each side, and then I'll do an add-on. Of course, you can hold your warrior 3 for an extra breath if you want to feel into that connection. Extending heart and legs away from center, but with your hands on something, it's a nice place to hang your head. You can even keep looking at your legs moving, if that feels good to your neck. All right, optional add-on. As you inhale, the left knee in and left leg back. Maybe you reach right arm forward, like our arm glide leg slide. Exhale back to center. Inhale, right leg back, opposite arm, left arm forward. Exhale, center. If you're at a wall you can't reach forward, then airplane your arm out to the side. Or even if that's just what your shoulder wants to do, opposite arm can go out to the side instead of forward. And yes, you can play with both arms. So take about 6 to 8 more breaths to play. If you want to hold your balance at any point, do that. If you're starting to feel this in the back, go slower. Think of not elevating the legs so much. Stay really connected from pubic bone to navel. So this is functional training for how to use our limbs from center, not from our backs. And then I'll let you decide when you're finished, find your resting pose, whether you want to ease back down into a child's pose or a standing forward fold. Down dog on the wall. And then notice which part of your body feels good right now. Take huge breaths into that. And if anywhere feels a little tender, send your exhales there. All right, we'll find our way down to sitting. Keep breathing. Or up to sitting if you're on the ground. Square pose. Either same cross-legged seat we started in, crossing at the shins, feet a little forward and towards knees than they would be in Sukhasana. Or some of you at this point will stack one shin on top of the other, right shin on left is what I'm doing for your forward fold. Once again, this is pretty much the same shape as figure 4. So if you prefer to be on your back, you can stack. You don't have to. If your legs are asking for another position for a yummy forward fold, honor that. Another name for this shoelace shape is double pigeon. So if you want to do pigeon, same targeted area to get your breath into. Reach your tailbone back, scoop your low belly in, and let that pull your spine up. Maybe just enough to change cross of legs. If you're on your back or in pigeon, take your time transitioning to second side. And of course, in any of these forward folded positions, maybe taking a couple mindful shoulder rolls, real tiny, gentle movements as you ease the shoulders away from your head and neck. For me, after literally decades of practice, it's finally clicking why easing the shoulders back or a chronic shoulder forward pulls our low back out of alignment. So we don't want to correct that by jerking them back suddenly, but just feeling for softening little by little, practice by practice. As the heart moves forward, the shoulders ease back. All right. And then use your low abdominals to pull yourself up and ease down to rest. As always, if you prefer to turn your Zoom off so I don't interrupt your Shavasana, if you want to rest for a more adequate 5 to 7 minutes, you can do that. And as always, you may continue to stay, relax as you are, receive the benefits of the work you've done. If you're ready to resurface, start with a deepening breath. Notice what feels open to your breath. Inflate that area. You can even sigh out with sound to the areas that aren't quite ready to move. And start with your fingers and toes. Go nice and slow as you bend a knee at a time. And either ease yourself off to your side to press up to sitting, or if it's easier to rock up, you can use momentum. Those of us sitting will press palms together, thumbs against your sternum, lift your heart. Bow your head toward your heart. Be amazed at that constant life within. And from that place, we bow to each other. Namaste.